Hello, everyone.
I like that creepy beginning. Is that new? I like that.
I use it for mine mainly. I guess this is the first time that I'm having you on while I'm hosting, but I use that as a buffer. I think it's a great buffer to allow people to join in, and we don't have to reintroduce ourselves.
I like it. What's the music from?
It's like, of course, you got to go royalty free, but I was going for like John Carpenter-esque royalty free music, so like I felt like it sets the mood.
I like it.
Yeah, it works. It works. We got some people in here. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Hi.
Feel free to comment and join in on our discussion tonight, which will be about haunts and music. And we have Mark joining us tonight. You may be familiar with him. He's been on several of our live shows, and you might have seen him at their conventions as well. Greetings. We had 2 comments as soon as I posted it, scheduled it about haunts. People are really excited and hopeful that haunts will be a thing this year.
Yeah, a lot of them in California looks like it's going to be drive-in haunts. Like you're going to drive your car to it and you're not going to get out.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I just don't know. Levi's joined us. Hello, Levi.
Hey, Levi.
Yeah. Join in on our conversation. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Chase. Thanks for joining. Boy, oh boy. Hello from Sloppy Seconds.
Oh, really? I was just talking about you guys on an Australian thing. That I was talking about.
Yeah, joining in for what were you saying?
We were talking about they were talking about Wes Meyers films, and I was talking about a Sloppy Seconds song that. And I said that, and they were going, yeah. And everybody's like, yeah, Sloppy Seconds is the greatest band in the world. So we love Sloppy Seconds.
Showing the love for Sloppy Seconds. Thanks for joining. Please participate in any of our conversation. So yeah, touching upon Jenny comments, even in my car, I'm going to be scared. Now, that's the one thing that I have to wonder is like, how are they controlling pace in vehicles? And if someone gets scared and just slams on the brakes or slams on the gas.
Well, I think it was the second year at Universal Horror Nights in California. They had the monster. They had the tram. The tram was a big part of the horror nights, and a monster got too close to the tram and got caught and dragged. And I don't know if he died, but definitely was left in critical condition. And we were shut down for almost 4 years. And we couldn't do any more Halloween Horror Nights while they worked that out. I honestly don't believe the car. I think they're going to do it like, the car stops, turn off the engine. They do their little wacky thing. The car goes, stops, because that's all you need is, some guy come running up to a window and screaming and the guy flying into the next car. I'm sure they're thinking about this,
I hope. But I do see that it is a trend. And a little shout back for you there. We love you, Mark. Boy, oh boy. I did do some due diligence and research some of the top ones that I'm familiar with and tried to do it by region of what our demographics are, which would be North Carolina, Phoenix, and California.
Yeah, I looked up California ones.
And it seems like outdoor is the way to go. I know here in Florida we have one called Petrified Forest. And they're an outside one. And it seems to be more acceptable for some reason for not to be enclosed. And if they can control the crowds and monitor the capacities that they're trying. And I'm surprised at how many are going to try this year, especially with the big contenders already throwing in the towel.
Right.
One being 13th Floor, which has already posted their Know Before You Go for 2020, which, of course, the mask, protective face coverings are required to enter the haunted house and must be kept on at all times. And fast passes are being sold, but I think there's a lot of limitations. They're also limiting what you can bring in, which I don't know if that's new because I've never attended this one.
Yeah, I've done it before. I'm not a big fan of 13 floors, to be honest with you. It's more, you have to go through things, like you have to taste stuff. And, I'm just there to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm there for the environment and how cool it looks. I don't want some guy who's the manager of Starbucks acting like he's some psycho killer and trying to threaten me and screaming at me. And 13th Floor does that. And I was like, listen, you're not going to scare me by, with your rubber knife and your rubber frog,
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm 63 years old. I'm just here to see how cool it is. Don't try to be creepy on me because it's not going to work. And they do that a lot, and I don't care for
Yeah,
that.
I feel like they're definitely trying to experiment and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, and
when the original stuff, and I found it interesting because most of these sites are starting to post up their COVID-19 safety and procedures, and this one seems to be like they have multiple locations. And I found that like this is what the sign of times we have. They have like the little picture with the employee with the custom mask on with the thermometer in their gloved hand. All staff will wear proper face coverings and be temperature screened.
yeah,
Too.
I was just talking to, I think his Crypt Master Chucky. He has a haunted house in Cincinnati, and he says that they're going to bring people in 2 at a time, self-distance. They're going to test them for the fever. They're going to do the whole bit, but and they're I think it could be pulled off. I think with Universal or Knott's Scary Farm, it's just that they get such a large capacity of people that they can't control them. I think for these type of haunts, it could be controlled and put in a controlled environment.
Angela is looking forward to any kind of haunt companies that are being put on, and also adds Orlando, Florida is putting on the Haunted Road drive-through experience. I haven't really heard much about this, but I did recently get a sponsored ad popped up, I guess, due to my location that they are auditioning. So there are haunts that are going to start kicking up, and upon my research, I did find we have a year-round haunt called Mortem Manor. It's in a place called Old Town in Kissimmee, and they were quick to just like jump on. Safety is number one. They reopened. They're now open, but their burial simulator will remain closed. And of course, there's these quirky little icons with like face masks, smaller groups, 6 feet apart, sanitize, like a lot of sanitizing.
Yeah.
But this is an indoor. This is an indoor haunt.
Oh.
So that kind of like, I guess, negated my theory of like this would be strictly hay rides, cornfield mazes, and outdoor experiences, just to limit recirculated air and possible spread.
Yeah, I just bought tickets for a haunted hayride. It's going to be in San Dimas, home of the water parks, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but it should be interesting. I'm curious.
Yeah.
They do a good job. I don't know if you ever did the haunted hayride out here. It's really good.
I did see something because I was looking up best in like 2020 haunt seasons and see, and I guess this one called The Disturbance. I guess they're also partnered with the Scream Zone at Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Wow.
They already announced that I don't think that they're doing it. It sounds like they're not operating this season. Meanwhile, the hayride did come up. Reign of Terror is announcing they're posting their fall 2020 schedule soon.
Oh, Reign of Terror. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like them. Yeah, I like them.
So they're persevering. I'm sure they're updating. Like, if you've been to this one, is this one an indoor one or is it?
Yes.
Outdoor? So
yeah, it's indoor.
So they're updating their policies currently now. Another one that I saw. Well, this is part of the disturbance too. Like, which it seems like it's like a generic. They're copy and pasting. They're all kind of posting similar things.
Yeah, I think people are going to be starving for stuff. I think also you're going to see a lot of houses fixed up this year. I don't know if you've gone. Do you ever go to Home Depot? That's have you seen their Halloween decorations they have right now?
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty. They're getting quite legit. Like the inflatables and the motion animatronic ones.
Yeah, they have a 12-foot skeleton that it's I've worked. I mean, they have some. I mean, they have horror quality, things, and I think people are going to be fixing up their house, and I think it's going to be very much a lot of people doing independent things just because we have the time and we're bored out of our mind to do stuff. Although I'd like to announce right now that Hollywood is coming back. I've just been informed that I will be starting back at work, which in about 2 weeks. I have to be tested constantly, but it looks like Hollywood, of all places, is starting up again. I'm very happy about that.
Oh, they got to do something. I already see the articles like appearing where they're saying fall TV is going to be suffering because filming has been going on, so there's going to be a lot of reruns and reality shows.
Yeah, showing. But at the same time, all these writers, my main concern when I watch Shudder, the acting's good, it's shot well, but the story sucks. It's the writing. These writers have had time to sit home and write, so we better have some decent scripts coming out of this.
As long as Angela knows about the Old Town one.
Yeah.
They've gone through several owners over the few years. I haven't gone since it's been back to Mortimer Manor. It's hard to keep up. Almost went 2 years ago, but it's one of those things we take for granted because it's 365 days a year.
Wow.
I'll do it. I'll do it another time. I'll do it another time.
Right.
Levi's planning to go to Hallow Scream during his October escape from LA. Now that's interesting because I didn't know that Busch Gardens was still pursuing.
No, I didn't either. I thought that all the big ones were shut down.
Me
That's
too.
Cool. Good for them.
Boy, oh boy, says great news, Mark. Do your magic.
Thanks, man.
And it'll be good to see some things, try to get back to normalcy. I'm sure you're looking forward to going back to work and being creative and productive. I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird. But not only do we're going to have our normal team on set, assistant, buyer. We're going to have a union cleaner that all they do is clean the props. At the end of the day, clean the props. When the actor is wrapped, clean his props. So we're at least developing more jobs. I thought it was going to be less. I thought they were going to say we don't need a bunch of people on set. And that's going to be that, but they're going to be there. Their jobs are going to be away from everybody else. So I'm excited about an additional person to work in the film industry, and it's a new job for them. Which
I can do that job. I like wiping things down.
I know, huh? That's a good job.
It's a great job for any OCD or germophobic person.
Right.
How therapeutic would that be? Just cleaning.
I want to. But I'm thinking I have Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow on my show, so I wouldn't mind wiping their guns down.
Oh yeah, do you know already what you're going to be working on? Is it a new project?
It's a project that I walked away from called The Old Man, and it's for FX. Amazing show. It's going to be brilliant. People are going to the cast is amazing. The people I've been working with are brilliant. The stunts are fantastic. I'm very excited about it. And I was bummed that we shut down, but we're coming back.
It would be worth the wait then.
Yeah, it's going to be good. People are going to love it, I think. I do.
Did I ever go to Terror on Church Street? Yes, I did. I went, and I want to say around 98 and 99. I was still in high school.
That was year round too, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was year round, but I feel like their peak days, of course, were Fridays and Saturdays when Church Street was booming for the bar hoppers. And it was just amazing. I was just like, this is the best thing in the world to just be able to go downtown Orlando and see stilt walkers dressed as vampires and just like lure you in to go walk through. And I went to both locations because they moved within the 2-year period that I went the first and the second time. And I was sad to see it go. I was surprised that it wasn't something that could stick around.
Yeah. This is going to be I think this is honestly going to be my first year. I haven't since like 1975. I haven't gone to Knott's Scary Farm. So it's going to be odd for me.
I think it's going to be odd for a lot of people. And then, what's Elvira going to do?
I know.
This is her time. Levi says, yep, they announced it right after Universal Orlando announced they weren't going to do HHN. That is so like Busch Gardens. I still get amused when I drive by on the front gate of Universal. Busch Gardens has like permanent real estate on that billboard. And every year they always update the ads for the season. And then as soon as Halloween, it says, Hallow Scream, Busch Gardens, right across the street from Universal.
Yeah.
Not even in the same city, but they know what they're pandering to.
Yeah, they know their clients, their people.
Boy, oh boy says, I suspect there will be a movie or TV show depicting the COVID-19 saga, love interest, etc. Popcorn movie, and of course the casting will all wear masks.
Well, have you seen Host on Shudder?
No, I haven't seen that.
it's COVID. It's during all this. It's really good. I didn't think I'd like it, but it's really good. And it's, like when they leave, they put on their masks, and it's during this time. But it was one of those shows I didn't think I'd like. I liked it. It was good.
So is it a show or a movie? Like
movie?
Okay. Yeah, you're already starting to see some of it come out, especially like the mention of love interest here. I noticed a promo on Hulu, love in the time of COVID or Corona or whatever, and I'm like, already we're doing this? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm living it. I don't want to watch it. I watch things to escape real life.
Yeah.
It might be one of those things like a year or so from now I might partake in it, but I'm stubborn that way.
Do you dream in your dreams? Have you had people wearing masks in your dreams yet?
Not yet, but I've had some really violent, weird dreams though.
Yeah, extremely violent, but wearing masks.
Yeah. No mask. I mean, I always have those dreams where I think I can tell they're familiar, but I don't see the details of their face. And then there was like one last week that I woke up and I was violently bashing their head in.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't even know. Like usually people go, what'd you watch before you went to sleep? I went Seinfeld. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but my dreams have definitely been more vivid and lucid.
Do you know went down. This is out of left field. Did you know Kane Hodder was on an episode of Seinfeld?
No, what?
Yeah, it's the episode where the girl gets her toe cut off. Kane Hodder's a mugger on that episode, and for some reason, like when it's in reruns, it's edited because of commercials. But if you have like the box set of that episode, yeah, it's Kane Hodder. He's a mugger.
That might be why, because I mean, I watch Hulu, so I can imagine.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing everything, and now I have to find it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I'm sure we can find it on YouTube. That's a fun fact. How'd you learn that? You noticed it yourself?
I got it from the horse's mouth.
Oh, is that
whenever I'm with Kane, he always asks trivia questions to people, and he goes, "Well, Mark will know," and I better damn well know, and I didn't know that one. So he was all depressed, giving me dirty looks.
Fun facts. I mean, man, just when you think you've seen everything Kane's done, he pulls another one out.
Yeah.
A big announcement that I thought was interesting throughout my research. Most people have heard of Netherworld, which is in Georgia, which is, I guess, one of the top ones that since what was the other one we did? New Orleans, was that House of Shock? Is that what I always, we experienced that one year with Mad Monster. We went to New Orleans, and I was really impressed. And I hear great things about Netherworld, and on their website they haven't updated anything. But I noticed on their Instagram they had this long. I couldn't even fit it on the screenshot. That they are going to be doing an event this year, but things will be very different.
Nice.
In smaller capacity. So it seems like it's going to be very competitive to get in on these events, but it's going to be very intimate, which I'm like,
yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Like if you can get in, it's going to be an amazing experience because you won't have to fight the crowds. But
yeah, there's a lot of this stuff, like I live in Huntington Beach, and like I'd like to go to a place called Surf Tacos, but everything's outdoors, but you're outdoors at the beach. I enjoy it. I enjoy, the being at a restaurant and outside, and even at Knox Berry Farm, they have like they have it out on the street and stuff, but it's different and it's done right. It's fun. I like it.
I look forward to hearing about people's experiences. One that I saw, I looked up for North Carolina, any of our Charlotte attendees. Unfortunately, it looks like Carowinds is tapped out like Universal. So they're going to just skip this year and go straight to 2021 planning.
Well, my thing is, I wonder if these people who get COVID are going to blame these haunts and stuff. I mean, I wonder if there's going to be a bunch of lawsuits after this. And that's the reason why a lot of people are going, I'll sit this one out. We'll see. I wonder, because we're so, lawsuit happy in this world. And, these lawyers are such scumbags. I'm sure that, they're going to be like, if you were at a haunted house in October, call 555-666. Or if you were molested by a priest or if you had a Boy Scout leader attack you. So, yeah, I think they're going to see those commercials.
You might be right. Because, I mean, companies like Universal and Disney, because Disney was first, I think, to cancel their Not So Scary, which isn't even a haunt
No.
or anything special. It's just kids going trick or treating, and they jumped on it. Well, I imagine that it was through the insistence of their lawyers and PR people. Like, you don't want this. You know, we've got enough on our hands right now. But it gives the independent haunts a fighting chance. They might see more money in their pockets this year because that option is off the table. And I, for one, I'm supportive of it. I didn't go to Halloween Horror Nights last year. I actually went to a new haunt that was in the old Nickelodeon hotel suite, which is like 2 minutes from my house.
Wow.
And I had a great time. It was fun. It wasn't overcrowded. I wasn't waiting an hour and a half in lines. I walked through the whole thing and didn't have any kind of like negative experience. So I'm in full support. I think this is a great opportunity for small businesses, independent companies to kind of take the spotlight and then bring it back home.
Hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
What was fun last year, Levi? Did you go to Hall Scream last year? Angela says most places have disclaimers that you cannot sue them, Disney, Universal. I'm sure. I mean, a waiver and a disclaimer can only be so ironclad. As a business owner myself, I've had my own insurance agents and lawyers tell me that waivers aren't as ironclad as they're made out to be. They're just intimidation for people to like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. I did sign this waiver. I did see that, but there's always where there's a waiver, there's always a lawyer that's willing to find a loophole.
Where there's a waiver, there's a way.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Disney is kind of an exception. I feel they cover a lot of bases, but like I said, I didn't go to Halloween Horror Nights last year. I don't feel like I missed it either. I really didn't. I was surprised because I was like, they are waiting a long time to announce whether they're going to have Halloween Horror Nights this year or not. And then they opened up that store. I don't know if you saw the update.
Yeah, it's supposed to be cool.
Sell their merch. And I'm like, so they really are going through this. But I know people that work in special effects departments doing the makeup and working on the props. And I'm like, none of these people are saying they're working. They will already be working on this stuff by now.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way this is happening. And then when they finally canceled, I'm like, well, that makes more sense. I don't know why it took them so long.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it. I love it. I love it. I love Halloween Horror Nights. I love Not Scary. I love all that. I go crazy for it. It's my, it's my time to shine. It's the only time you can go to Walgreens and buy a severed head and nobody looks at you weird. I love that time of period, that time of year.
Yeah, that was a great event, Levi. Going to House of Shock after Mad Monster closed. That was definitely good memories. Yeah, everything that I see, it was just like the same generic thing. So it's either going to be like Bates Motel. Have you ever done this one?
What is it?
It's called Bates Motel Haunted Attractions. It's in California. I'm not sure where.
Wow, I never even heard of it. I have to look that up.
They've posted their schedule here, which looks like they're going to start at the end of September.
We have that Midsummer Night Scream that usually has all those kind of things. You kind of learn about all these attractions. I've never heard of that one though. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dig too deep, but I found plenty in California which is surprising because I feel like California has taken the lockdown a lot more serious than other states have. Like I being in Florida, like I don't feel like we took it anywhere near as serious as California did with the shutdown.
Yeah, they got crazy here.
So it's encouraging to see that these haunts are still trying, to provide something, because I was like, I'm going to be mighty upset if Halloween gets canceled and Christmas can still happen because I hate Christmas.
Hey, let's face it, as long as it's night, we could have Halloween Horror Nights. We could do it ourselves, we'll make it happen.
I think you're right, though. I think a lot more people will probably decorate their houses. I mean, I know in my area in their celebration, there's a lot of houses, the big houses, they go all out. Like one puts a whole front facade on their house. It looks like a pirate ship.
Not bad.
It's that same thing like when you drive through Christmas lights and you can tune into radio stations.
Yeah.
They do that with their houses. So I hope that they are able to do that this year as well and just try to keep the spirit alive. I've already started scavenging, like, Spirit Halloween stores are already popping up around here, which got me excited. I'm like, oh, it's still happening. Maybe, it's not all canceled.
Yeah, and Spirit, we went there recently. They kick ass. That's a great store. I'm amazed by how good those are.
It's so fun just to walk through and see everything. And man, costumes are getting really,
Elaborate.
yeah, they're just, I was very impressed with some of the props that these. I'm like, man, we didn't have this as a kid. You had to make your own props.
Well, I was just at Spirit the other day. They had like rubber hammers and like wrenches and all these like weapons that I rent for 3 times the amount of money, and they're selling them for really, I mean, like $5. When you think that to rent something like that, it's usually about $25. I was really impressed with their replica weapons.
Same. Like they have a whole section. It's like, well, all these utensils, even like a quite legitimate chainsaw last year I saw.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, like revved up and the thing moved, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I'm not complaining, but this is nothing like what I had when I was younger.
Yeah, I know.
Michael's too. Like, I always like checking out the art stores because they usually have some really fun knickknacks and tchotchkes, even though I'm not so much a knickknack person, but I like looking at them.
Yeah, I like the vintage look. I hate the glitter. I hate it when they get all glittery. But they're even Big Lots is coming back with the old school vintage Halloween stuff, and I love it. I have to have it. It's like the plastic pumpkin with the ghost coming out, or the black cat.
The black cat was the theme last year for Michael's, and I loved it. Like the wood cutouts, like some of them, like you said, had glitter on them, which I'm like, they could have,
stay
without
vintage.
that.
Go vintage. Go like 50s original. I love that look.
They're keeping the spirit alive, and Ben Cooper's still hanging in there too, because I'll still see like props, like those oversized masks, and I'm like,
love it.
Yeah, things like that are still hanging in there, and I'm all for it. William says he wishes Spirit sold more horror collectibles. I feel like they are moving towards that direction.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised by like the plaques and stuff like that. It'd be cool right now. It'd be cool if they did like the Nika toys and stuff like that. But they're definitely getting more and more into just everything horror, which is fun.
Yeah, the licensed stuff too, pretty impressive. Just like it's like you don't really have to search and scavenge like before. Freddy sweater, Freddy hat, glove, it's all there.
But you know what?
Have the low grade or the premium grade.
You know what they didn't have is Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. I couldn't find any Leatherface masks or anything like that. Freddy, Jason, Michael, I saw that.
You're right. I wonder, do you think that's a licensing thing?
Maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe just they just don't think that that's a popular thing.
Yeah, well, that's a mistake.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will be the year for it. I don't know. Like that's excellent, because I did recall like looking through, and of course everything is Fortnite and Overwatch.
Yeah,
I don't know much about that, but they had like elaborate sections for that, which was like the kids are all about it, and I really can't blame them, I guess, because they had some pretty fun props for that too.
Oh, dead silence.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet tonight. We've got a few viewers. So we'll just touch upon any haunts I didn't mention that I saw. That what was it? What is that? Queen Mary? Is that the boat?
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's been it's been shut down forever. And Angela, she's like the Queen Mary woman. She loves it so much, and we haven't been able to, I go to that the bar there just to hang out. I love the Queen Mary, and it's shut completely down right now.
Why do you? I mean, like, I guess, what does it qualify as? An attraction or a bar, or?
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, they have Dark Harbor, which is an attraction, but the Queen has a year-round like Ghosts of Queen Mary thing that's really well done, and they also do investigations that are really legitimate there, and all that's been shut down. It's painful. So that's my, like, I'm bored, I want to go do something this Friday. thing
Yeah, I
to do.
remember you spent a lot of time there, and it did pop up on one of my search for like sites about haunts, and it's big canceled across it. And I'm like, wow, that's tough because I don't know how they stay uh, afloat financially. You
Good one.
know, drop that little pun in there, but I hope that they're able to like survive this because I
They
can't.
have to. What are they going to do? Sink it? They have to fix it up. Somebody's got to go in there and make it happen again. It's such a. Have you ever been on it?
No, but I heard it plenty from
It's
through you, but I
just a,
haven't seen it.
it's just a gorgeous ship, and it has that shining vibe. It's just a gorgeous ship, though, and a
Just
great
makes me wonder
history.
why they can't figure something out and get it going. Like
Yeah,
that's the thing that I have a problem with the shutdowns and stuff. There's just no continuity, especially here in Florida. We're all over the place. Like I think bars are still closed, theaters just barely opened.
yeah, but I love
Days.
riding my bike, which just got stolen yesterday. Riding my bike, over and sitting out in front of a bar and having a drink. I love that. I love that all these you can buy drinks outside the bar right now. It's a lot of fun.
That is a perk. I mean, a lot of restaurants here have taken advantage of that. But what I can't understand again goes with continuity. And it feels like a little bit of double standards here. Like the bars are closed, but restaurants can serve alcohol. Theme parks are increasing capacity, but bars are still closed. Escape rooms are opening here, but bars are still closed. So I just don't understand like what the difference is to me to deny a business a means to stay afloat.
Yeah, and there's shady shit going on too. There might be like they want to do some kind of weird tax for the bars to open and they're not going to pay it or whatever. There's weird stuff going all over the place like that where they're saying, well, you have to pay blah, 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 because we're not going to have, if you're going to have a table on the street that's parking that we can't have cars. So you're going to have to pay all this money you have to pay for the parking that we're losing money on. There's all these scams that people do. And if anything, with the environment of 2020, we've learned, if anything, that these political people, these politicians and these governors and mayors, they're all a bunch of pieces of shit. And nobody seems to be trying to work things out. They just want to make things so they make money or for their reason. I can't believe that's the worst part about 2020 is we really have been transparent on how corrupt everybody is, and it's real obvious.
Yeah, it's hard to hide right now. Personal agendas, anything like that. It's a bit overwhelming. It's a bit disappointing, even though it's something you have always expected in the back of your mind.
We've known it, but it's just never been bashed over our heads like it is now.
Yeah. Well, William says most states are in stage 3 now, so theaters are open. We just went into stage 3 here in Maryland. I don't know the stages. This is the second person I think it's mentioned stages. I don't think I've ever heard this term used from anything our governor in Florida has mentioned. Like stages, what stages? We had phases or whatever. Like there is none in Florida. It's whatever. It's a free for all. Levi says the mindset they claimed was you can't social distance while drunk, but the outdoor restaurants physically distance. I don't buy that. I really don't buy that because if you can sell alcohol at a TGI Fridays, what's to stop someone from getting lit? The only thing that I find entertaining with all this is all the to-go drinks. Like, oh, it used to not be allowed, and now it's like, get your margaritas to go.
Yeah, it's New Orleans across the United States.
And like Orlando had a open container law where you couldn't leave an establishment, like their perimeter with an open container. And then all of a sudden it's like you're seeing people just walk down the street with beverages. Yeah. It's like, this is a free for all. This is chaos incarnate. Like we're watching it happen.
Yep. A lot of that's going on.
Levi says, and the California governor and LA mayor just made it even harder for theaters to reopen. Oof.
Yeah, California's insane. That's because I'm blown away that Hollywood's opening up again. But we have to. I mean, we're losing millions of dollars every day. We have to get back into it.
If you're going to deny people all these avenues of entertainment, you got to give them something at home. Like, what's keeping the people at home as soon as like they don't have much to occupy their time? I don't know. Like, our theater's open. I think AMC's opened last week. I want to say that's still not even in my mind. Let's go see a movie. Like, I really could not. Kudos to the people that are going. I'm still adjusting to going out to eat.
Yeah.
After 5 months of not really doing that, that's an adjustment. So, and I've only been to Universal once, and it was on a team member opening day. It wasn't even like an official open day. It was only team members allowed, and it was weird. It was dead. It didn't have that same energy.
Right.
You're walking on the rides, but you're like sanitizing your hands. You get the mask. It's, you know, our humidity is like 90%.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And we constantly see the updates of them laying people off. And now Universal's contemplating closing a couple of days of the week because it's just not financially doable to stay open 7 days a week right now. They're not busy enough. Meanwhile, Disney is handling things a very different way with their reservation system. Levi just came back from Disney. How was your visit to Disney? It looked like you had some fun. It doesn't look like there was many crowds. It says you went to Disney Springs AMC Sunday and Tuesday. They did a great job making a safe environment. I think that this with AMC, because they got lucky. I don't know if you guys were doing it over there, but AMC here was doing assigned seating. So when you would buy a ticket, you'd have to pick your seats out. So I'm like, that would have made the transition easier because they could block out certain sections and make sure there's enough space.
Yeah, our theaters are non-existent.
I had another great visit. Yeah, Disney. I am a 5-year annual pass holder, and my pass lapsed during the shutdown, and they're not renewing passes right now.
Yeah, I have a pass too, and yeah, we're same story.
And even when I called about it, because they're like, oh, there's a cutoff. There was one, they would have owed me a month if my payment was taken out by a certain date. If it passed the date, they'll refund me the money, and then I just have to wait. But then when I look at like all the restrictions, I'm like, I'm kind of glad it did, because it's not worth the money right now. You can't go whenever you want. You're limited to going to one park per day. They're blocking you out for Halloween, which is, you know, the best time of year to go here in Florida. And they're blacking out like most of the annual pass holders from going. And to me, it's like, well, you're just kind of like, you're kind of not taking care of people that really love Disney, because it's more profitable to make someone pay for a day ticket than to take your payments from annual pass holders.
Yeah. I want to move on from this. This is depressing me now. Let's talk about something else.
What shall we talk about?
Let's talk about music and movies.
Yeah, want to talk about music, like what bands?
Well,
of course, you got to throw in, like, I don't know if the viewers know this, but if you ever been to a Phoenix, I know. Have you ever performed in Charlotte? I know you've performed a couple of times in Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix. We've done Phoenix. Yeah, but yeah, 647F pretty much been banned from everywhere in the world. But yes, come to California,
gold, right? That's what punk and music was about back then, right?
Yeah, I still get my last show. I had the owner of the club and the manager of the show screaming at me while I'm singing, you know, because I've made such a big mess with blood and all the crap all over the place. And, you know, and when they yelled at me what I did, I just went, punk rock, you know, fuck you. You know, that's how I am with my show. But thanks for the shot.
Yeah, you gotta promote yourself, and like you gotta let the people know. I also found this, like, what's the story behind this, like, article here?
You know, it's funny when they were talking about Cop Killer and all this stuff. This is from 1988. We have a song called Cop Corpse in a Room. And I didn't kill the cop. I just found the cop and I dragged him into our room and took photos with him. But yeah, the National Enquirer 647F is basically, it was everything I read in National Enquiry and wrote songs about it.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was actual, like, Madonna. It wasn't the singer Madonna, but this person saw Madonna come out of the graveyard, and I'm like, Madonna the Dead, you know, there it is. It writes itself.
Yeah, and I see here, eyewitness draws a picture of Madonna like zombie seen walking through nearby graveyard.
And Toys R Us Death Squad it was a legitimate story, although it was in the choir. It was about cops killing kids with toy guns, which, you know, is legendary, you know, to this day. Use a gun, go to jail. Use a toy, go to hell, was the yelling slang of that song.
As
But
terrible as the times are, I think this is why, music like what you create exists,
yeah,
to educate and spread the word, to give a point of view to the people.
but I mean, uh, iconically, let's think about it. The Exorcist theme song, Halloween, Twilight Zone. I mean, these theme songs all are from horror, but they're legendary. We all know these theme songs more so than anything else. The music of horror movies is iconic. You know, what movie have you seen that has a great song that you can't that you got in your head?
You mean like an original song or
Whatever,
score or
whatever.
soundtrack?
Like when you watched a movie and they had like a song in it, like what's a song that sticks out in your head?
Oh man, this is a tough one because I already have one queued up as TV shows because from a child, the most haunting theme song to me was Tales from the Dark Side.
Hell yeah, that was a great one.
Like when that show came on, because my mom watched it, I had to have been like 3 or 4. It just sent a chill through you. That much scared me as a child. I cut my teeth on horror. My mom was a big fan watching The Hitchhiker
Right.
series, Tales from the Crypt. But that theme song from Tales from the Dark Side, whoever composed that,
So good.
man, what is going on in their head? Because it hits. That's right up there to me with Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah,
That theme song too, very chilling.
I
And
love it.
I'm all about it. I love music that has a dark note or a dark theme to it.
Night Gallery was another one that was really good. I love Night Gallery.
Williams says the Puppet Master theme music.
Yeah, that was really good. I don't know who composed that. Was that Danny Elfman?
That's a good question. If anybody know the answer out there, who composed the Puppet Master theme music? That was what impressed me about John Carpenter. It's like not only did he create a movie, but he also, created a very iconic soundtrack for it.
It's weird that our favorites, except for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but Nightmare on Elm Street, it was iconic. Friday the 13th, the music was iconic. Halloween was brilliant. I mean, those are great theme songs. And when you hear it, your hairs, stand up behind your neck. I love those theme songs. Those are great.
I think also one of my favorite, I guess, composers was Clint Mansell, and he still does work on current things, but I think he just has a specific sound that kind of just works. And usually it's using string instruments like Manfredini did.
What songs was Skinny Puppy in? Any horror films? Seems like Repo Man.
Actually, funny thing, it wasn't technically Skinny Puppy, but it was Ogre's vocals with Ministry in RoboCop, the club scene. When he walks into the club, that's Ogre singing with
God.
music, and not many people know that, and it cracks me up because it's so 80s. But I mean,
that's wonderful. See, that's a great one.
You would think that there would be more usage of their music, but I think it's so obscure and it's such a cult following. But it kind of works reverse because Skinny Puppy samples many horror movies in their music. And I think that's what I fell in love with them when I first heard them in, I want to say 97 in my friend's car. I'm like, what is this? Because again, anything dark, horror music I was all about. And that was right at the peak of Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Shock rock. And
I think the first time I ever heard Bauhaus was The Hunger. And that got me. He's singing T-Rex song, Telegram Sound. But also, but by this time I'm totally into Bauhaus. Night of the Demons with Stigmata Mater. It was amazing in that movie. I love that.
I mean, it just goes hand in hand to me. I feel like there's so many I guess people overlook it and they'll use like Nine Inch Nails will always get picked over Skinny Puppy. They became more mainstream, so you'll hear more of their stuff in movies.
What what song is used in the most ever in horror films and in movies? But what song is used in almost the most in horror films?
Oh man, it's like one of those situations you ask a direct question and just escapes you because I know I get tired of hearing Sad World gets overused, I feel. I know there's another one too.
You know, when I say it, you're gonna go, yeah, you've heard it in so many films, and it's a song by a band. Anyone out there want to chime in with this
Chime
one?
in. This is your pop quiz. Song that's used heavily in movies.
Yeah,
movies and TV.
In movies, but predominantly horror films, but they've been used in a ton of movies. In fact, I think it's
for a while. I felt like everybody was using Evanescence, like Underworld, and it surprised me because I think Underworld was their soundtrack was I think produced by Danny Lohner Renholder, and he utilized a lot like Pussifer and Ministry and Evanescence, and then Resident Evil did the same thing. So I was like, is this the same soundtrack that just isn't remixed? There's more music out there, guys. I don't know why they use the same songs. Oh, so we haven't heard anything. So go ahead and let us know because I'm curious.
More cowbell. Does that give you a hint?
Yeah, Scream.
Scream, but I don't fear the Reaper by Louis Nicole. 24 times that's used in film. Yeah. Also, Alice Cooper's "School's Out" and "No More Mr. Nice Guy" is used a lot. But yeah,
also in Scream.
It was also in Scream, both of those songs. But it was also in the original Halloween, and "Don't Fear the Reaper," and also
You're right. Yeah. Nick Cave and the Bad Seed. I can't remember the song title, but that's used a lot too, which is actually a theme song for Peaky Blinders right now.
Yeah,
that is. I think they use it a lot in horror movies set in present time. That's interesting. I wonder if that's just like a blanket license that they have. Like, we already have it, so we might as well use these. This is a list of songs you can choose from that won't cost us too much.
It's also funny when, it works so, like in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, what was that, Johnny Cash, when the man comes around? Remember the beginning of that? Mm-hmm. That was brilliant. Also, was it Disturbed, when they're shooting all the people? That was really good. When it works so good. 45 Grave from Return of the Living Dead, Party Time. It's a great song from those films.
William says Marilyn Manson did Resident Evil score. Yeah, I do remember he did do the first one, which he did some original scoring for it along with songs.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson's made for a lot of those type of films. His remake of Sweet Dreams was in a film. I can't remember what film it was, though. And it really worked. I think I wrote it down.
I'm trying to think because I feel like I know. And as soon as you say it, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's it.
Also, Motorhead, Hellraiser 3, Hellraiser. That's Killer Clowns, the Dickies. I love that song. Uh-oh. Let's see.
So here's an article that says 10 awesome uses of Marilyn Manson music in horror movies, which because Spawn, I do remember that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, Spawn. That was a great soundtrack.
Yeah, that's right up. That soundtrack was right up there with The Crow for me in high school.
Yeah, no, that was good.
House on a Haunted Hill.
Well, that was Sweet Dream. That was it. I was
Strangeland used Sweet Tooth. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 used Disposable Teens. Dracula 2000 used Break You Down. Valentine. You remember that movie Valentine? That was an interesting soundtrack.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Queen of the Damned. I forgot about that. And of course, Resident Evil main theme. Hatchet used This Is the New Shit.
Yeah, that's right.
By Marilyn Manson. Trick or Treat used Sweet Dreams as well. I forgot about that. I haven't watched Trick or Treat in a while, but that seems to be a favorite.
That's a tradition in this house. Every Halloween, we got to watch Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
There's another film that tries to be like it. They missed the boat on it. It's like Halloween Stories. But my boy Nick Principe has a
Oh
really
yeah.
good episode in it. That's really good. I like that. I did a Steve Railsback movie. They used, I can't remember the movie. It was a PM Entertainment song, but the bunch of these like hoodlums are listening to music, and it's 647F. And I remember the producer got pissed off because the song was "What the fuck do you want from me?" And I say that over and over and over again. And they had to cut they used the song, but they had to cut it. So basically, you hear what while they're listening to the radio on when it played on the TV because they couldn't use my foul language that I use on my songs. Also, if you ever see a Ginger Lynn Allen and Linnea Quigley show called Vice Academy, I wrote the title track for that.
Oh what?
Yeah, I wrote that. If you ever watch it. It's very much rock and roll. It's a song called Pistol Whipped, and yeah, I wrote the title track for that.
Sounds like something you would write.
Yeah, it's very sexist.
Chad says Goo Dolls on Freddy's Dead plus Brian May composer. He did Mad Max.
Oh wow.
You know, I guess it has been a while since I watched Freddy's Dead because my timeline's like Goo Goo Dolls were around when Freddy's Dead came out.
Wow.
Yes, they were.
I wonder how many Alice Cooper songs. I know Alice was Man Behind the Mask. I think that's Friday. I want to say 6 when they were, and he was the father in Freddy's Dead, but he was also in. They did. Oh God, there's a bunch of Alice Cooper songs, but there's a John Carpenter movie. Oh God, I can't think of it. But yeah, Alice Cooper's got a lot of songs too in those things. Prince of Darkness, Alice Cooper does the song.
Alice Cooper, like growing up, like I was infatuated with Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, and I guess that's a relation. Also, Iron Maiden because their merch, Iron Eddie. I was fascinated with that character because he looked scary, and Metallica T-shirts. So the relation for me with music and horror is so close, like closely intertwined. Even as like a small child, I would always lean towards anything that had skulls, gore, macabre, or dark notes.
Yeah,
I think it just kind of goes.
Yeah, I never outgrew it. I never outgrew it. I still love it.
Anything theatrical too, stage theatrics. I think it just kind of goes together. And I was trying to think of modern bands that are doing it now.
Ghost
would be the top right now. They really do have it. But I feel like I'm out of the loop in new rock.
What about folks out there? What rap songs have been used in horror films? I know. I mean, Tales from the Hood, I'm sure, had a lot of them and stuff. It wasn't a rap song, but there was that song in Us that was really good.
I'm waiting for somebody to say "Nightmare on My Street" by Will Smith.
That was a great song. I love that one.
That was so great when it came out. Now, rap is taking an interesting turn because they're getting all these like subgenre categories as well. And I follow this little niche. It was like dark rap, and there's like Witch House. Witch House uses a lot of rap samples too now in music. But I was a big fan of Odd Future and Tyler the Creator because I thought it was so interesting that the special effects, the visuals, the blackout contacts, the upside down cross on their foreheads. I had never seen anything like that since Method Man came out with his video in 2000. And I think, I was like, I'd like to see more of that, rap and horror going hand in hand. I think it's a great mix.
I'm curious what's going to be in the soundtrack for the new Candyman. Just out of, that should be interesting because it's going to be a good film, I think.
And you're right, 5 on it, just slowing it down like they did, it worked perfectly for us. So I have faith that they'll be able to recreate that. Hopefully, I haven't been exposing myself to too much information about the remake. Is it a remake?
I heard it was a retelling.
a retelling. Now,
Yeah, we'll see.
that all gets kind of confused. Like, I feel like reboot, retelling, remake, it needs to come with an explanation. Sometimes it's misconstrued, but I purposely leave myself in the dark so I can walk in with no expectation.
Yeah, it's difficult for me because of, you
What
sit
you
at home and
do naturally. I mean, even if you live in that, you're going to see billboards. You're bound to see something.
yeah.
I can over here in Florida. We don't get the billboards. We don't, unless you're like actively seeking out trailers on YouTube. You're not going to really see any trailers unless you go to the movies. But
I have higher hopes for Candyman than I did the Halloween Kills, to be honest with you. I think Candyman might. I want it in my mind. I want it to be this fantastic new adventure. We'll see what happens.
are there any horror movies that are due to come out? I can't think of any.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween Kills and Candyman are the only thing I'm, edging to see. Have you watched Lovecraft Country yet?
I haven't yet. I need to get on that. So many people are really loving it. It seems that's the general consensus. I'm still playing catch up with some of my shows.
They really have the balls, one, to show Jim Crow America in this time, but the first episode is really off the hook. It's brilliant. The second episode really gets into Lovecraft and his racism, but it's still interesting. I really like it.
I'm open-minded to it. I think, I think that's what people forget, that you can make light of serious topics. It's perfectly fine to me. Just as that it's not based on fact or someone's personal beliefs. It's just a depiction of the times.
And
that's on HBO, right?
Yeah, it affects you. It affects you.
I'm looking forward to watching it. Is it coming out per episode or did it come out as a season?
No, per episode.
Okay, so I'm probably gonna let it accumulate because I was doing that with I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Did you watch that?
Yes.
Like I got it 4 episodes out. Oh, they're not all out, so I had to like buffer it like with a few weeks because I was just devouring it. It's done so well.
It is.
It's such a great writer.
Really, really good television right now. There's really good and really bad. It's amazing. I mean, I'm very.
What have you been up on? What have you recently binged on?
I mean, I just been going down the line of Shudder. Every time we hear, oh, this is good, like The Beach House, which it was okay. The ending was just, it's like they ran out of money. It just, The Shed is another one I just watched, which it really hurt from really bad writing. It had its moments. Just none of this stuff is working for me. It's frustrating me more than exciting me. Like I say, I think I enjoyed the host. My Angela's having she's teaching right now. She teaches Latin. She has a Zoom meeting, so I can't really ask her about horror movies to her students.
Unless you can say it in Latin and they can learn.
647F is in the studio right now, and we have a song that it starts off with her speaking in Latin, and I'm repeating it's like a demon's supposed to be talking to me. And when we were in the studio, she did this. She recorded the Latin stuff, and the studio shut down after she did it. And this is Mike Mart from the band Funeral. He's the producer of this album, and he goes, "What is she saying? Everything shut." I mean, he honestly thinks she was cursing his studio.
Take it back.
Everything shut down. It was pretty funny.
I just finished up Devs, which was an interesting show. I think it's a limited series with Nick Offerman.
No, I haven't heard this one.
It's a deep show. But I enjoyed it, and I also caught up upon recommendation. Warrior Nun on Netflix.
That's funny. One of my friends that I used to be my roommate, his partner is the producer of that. I haven't seen it yet. They show me clips. It looks good. I like it.
Interesting, like how it was sold to me. It was like it's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but without the vampires and without the quirkiness of Joss Whedon. But I was like, I totally can get the relation because instead of like a vampire hunter, you have a warrior nun.
Yeah.
And biblical and horror to me kind of are a great match. So I gave it a shot, and it was a fun watch. It definitely, it's not like super dark or scary, but it's an entertaining watch. I guess you could say a popcorn flick style TV series.
No, I got to watch it.
Awesome. I also caught up on Killing Eve. Now I tried starting that series a few times over the past year. There's 3 seasons out now, I believe, and it's not bad. I actually enjoyed it. I could see what the fuss is about. William says he just saw my budette Camille Keaton's movie Cry for the Bad Man last night on Prime, and it was freaking awesome. I've not heard of this. Have you?
No. I love it when they write in stuff that's good because when we shut down, I'm going to go turn it on right now.
Do your research. I was also told, I think it's called Doom Patrol. I was recommended to watch that, which is scored by Clint Mansell.
Oh, cool.
Brendan Fraser in it. It's by DC Comics writers. And I didn't really look into what it's about, but I was like, if it's anything like Watchmen or V for Vendetta, then I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, I'm on.
I'm into. So I think that's on HBO as well, but I haven't started watching it. But so there are some stuff still out there. It's not picked clean, but I'm glad to hear that you'll be back to work, and that means more stuff to watch.
Yeah, I was going crazy there.
You're like got to put your hands to work and make sure you don't forget your skills, because I know I was concerned with that, working with my hands in a creative field, not doing my job for 3 months. How's that going to be when we finally get started up and going? And I felt I came back with a lot more energy, drive, and ready to go. Like I almost feel like I improved a little bit. I don't know how, because I didn't do much creative stuff during the shutdown, but maybe it was a much needed break. Jay says Rain is also a good show on Netflix. I've never heard of that either. Yeah. Obviously, we need to do some.
I guess so.
We're missing out some good stuff probably, and you know that's true, because I am guilty of rewatching a series to death because I don't have the mental capacity to pay attention to something new, and that's how I pass my time, is rewatching.
I'm the same way. I can watch What We Do in Shadows, the series, over and over, and even the movie over and over and over again. That's very happy. And then, because I'm, an old geezer, I love watching the Universal monster movies over and over and over.
Well, I have the box set that I just put on, like silent films, the Hammer and Universal.
Yeah.
I'll just throw those on, and it's great background. I also love like the lo-fi audio though. That's like what the kids say, ASMR is very soothing to me. But yeah, I definitely and a lot of podcasts. I'm watching a lot of podcasts.
Oh, really? I haven't been doing a lot.
I mean, I live by myself, so I think it's like I kind of describe it to people like, you put a mirror in a bird cage and it makes a bird feel like they have company. Mm-hmm. That's what podcasts are for me. Like, it's like people talking, so you feel like there's life in the house.
It is just me and you talking. Let's face it. It's like you could be acting like you're at a dinner table and the people next to you like horror films and you're listening in on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It saved my sanity, I have to say, because I listened to a lot of Bill Burr, and it made me feel better because he never has guests on. So he's just yelling and ranting to himself in a room, and I could just picture it in my head while I'm like doing whatever I'm doing. Like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that sounds crazy.
Speaking of ranting, there's a movie called, I think it's Unnecessary Violence, or I can't think of it. I just watched it, and it's good, shot well and stuff. But the director went on this tirade about how he's the only one that can do horror now. None of these shows are horrific. And when you watch this film, I watched this film going, I've seen this movie before. What is it? And I mean, their version is the guy's a comic book writer, and that the killer is killing in the vein of his comic book, while this comic book writer is going on a tour of his comic book. But I'm watching it, and it dawned on me afterwards, it's The Hitcher. It's The Hitcher. If you watch The Hitcher and you watch this, it's the same, almost Same
even
exact
just from your
movie.
description, I'm thinking, well, scary stories to tell
Yeah.
in the dark was similar as a book reading the stories and the things were happening as they were reading the book. Like,
Yeah, there's a Stephen King book about that too, where the killer in the book becomes a reality to the writer and starts killing people. You know, yeah. I mean, it's been done so many times. And for
somebody
the,
have an original idea.
yeah, it's like don't be saying you're Mr. Horror.
I've got another recommendation. I saw Circus of the Dead the other night on Prime. It is crazy sick plus gore galore.
Yeah, I like Circus of the Dead. That was good.
Prime is coming through with some interesting titles.
Yeah.
I had Shudder. I haven't really been watching it as much because I think I was having problems downloading the apps, and it's something that I'm getting really peeved with apps coming out, like all these services coming out, but not being available on all devices. Like HBO Max won't download on Fire Stick and Roku because they're having an indifference about monetary stuff. So I'm like, how am I supposed to watch this service that I'm paying for?
My problem. I mean, I watch them all. I watch. If Kmart was sci-fi, Shudder would be Target. You know, it's just a little bit better product, but still the same CGI sharks. You know, it just, you know, they're every once in a while Shudder will have a gem in it, but you really have to look for it. And sci-fi is just horrible.
I guess that's what's nostalgic about video stores for me. Like when you used to go to a video store and you just peruse through the horror section, it's always all these like B movies that you never heard of that never would see the daylight, and you just pick it and then cross your fingers it's worth watching. If not, then you had fun watching it. That's what's great about horror. You can watch a bad one and still have a good time.
Yeah, I know. I miss.
So terrible.
I really do miss that experience. I think that experience somehow has got to come back in some way.
I agree, because that was that was something me and my grandfather used to do when I was like 5 or 6. Let's go to the video store and see who can pick out the scariest movie. And then you just look at the covers, like, oh, this one looks like this one. This one's going to be the winner.
Yeah, I can see that happening again, even if it is some kind of weird downloads, you know, but a store that does that, you know.
Yeah, I think that was one thing I was hoping that would come back, you know, like records did. Like all of a sudden you would see physical media or some sort of like community. You can just go peruse. Because again, you're seeing the proof here. All these people recommending these titles, you don't see a tangible product in front of your face. You just go look on a shelf and go, I've never seen this before. Let me take a look at it.
I also like the gimmick DVD. You know, they had like the hologramic, you know, I love that.
Or the insert, or even we had this discussion on a previous show, DVD menus.
Yeah.
You don't get that with streaming. You don't get the extras, the B-reel, the gags. You don't get the commentary. You wanted to rewatch it with the commentary.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. I love that stuff.
There's that bonus content that the content that the average cinephile is missing out by opting to stream instead of buy. So hopefully it will make a comeback for the hardcore people. I'm sure that they're the ones that are bought. You know, you see pictures of their houses, their walls are like DVD shelves.
Right.
So like I hope so, because I miss those days. It's like digital photos. You can take 100 digital photos and forget about it because you never see them.
The founding fathers
The titles are.
would have all been very well versed in classical studies.
William says it sounds like I'm Madman too, the movie you were talking about.
So
The director goes
What was it called?
I Madman.
No, that's not it.
No, I think he was comparing it to it.
Oh.
It sounds like that movie too. So he's just further proving that guy has no idea what he's talking about. He's not as original as he thinks he is. Now you said your band is recording, or are you putting on new?
Yeah, we're back in the studio. We don't know why.
Where do people find your content, your music?
You know, I mean, I do have records and 45s for sale. I mean, I have my horror page if anyone wants to talk to me. It's Horror Icana, it's Horror ICANA. You could always get me there, and you know.
Is that on social medias, or do you have a website?
It's on Facebook. It's just my Facebook page.
All right, so I'll throw this up there if you want to catch up with Mark and whatever. Is that spelled right? HORRICANA.
Yeah. Come join me, folks.
Yeah, give him a follow. He always puts out great horror themed memes, funny pictures. I see them every day. They're great. Also, now and then he releases some props and some movie related items.
Yeah, that's going to come to an end. I've been my Cells from the Crypt every Friday. I was selling stuff, but
yeah.
Once I start working, I don't have to dig out stuff and sell it.
Oh man, people were sleeping on it.
It kept me afloat. I appreciate it.
Most states are in stage 3 now, so theaters are open. We just went stage 3 here in Maryland. That was an old comment from William. He's talking about the stages. Yeah. William also said, "Who's got something playing in the background?" Oh, well, that's he mentioned that earlier. That's his wife teaching.
My wife is teaching Latin at a school right now. She's doing a Zoom meeting. I didn't think we'd hear each other, but
she's fluent in Latin.
Yeah,
that's impressive. Like I remember that was offered when I was in school, and mainly students who were interested in medicine took it. Of course, it made all of the medical terms easier. But you know, a dead language, that's pretty impressive.
We went to the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and they have Latin written up on the walls all around the restaurant and where they do magic tricks. And the magician was talking to us and saying that no one knows what it is because nobody reads Latin. And so Angela started reading off everything, and then all these magicians were gathered around to learn what was said, and it was, it was nothing
generic like magic stuff.
Yeah, but it was interesting to them because nobody knew what these words were all over their place, But
that's fascinating. I never thought of a translator. How long ago was this?
Yeah, that's true.
Did you see Zabrecki's doing some stuff?
No.
Yeah, if you go on his Instagram, he's doing shows. He's doing something with Penn and Teller.
Oh my God.
He was doing like little shows, little magic shows before all this went down, and then it kind of went radio silent. But I think earlier today, he blew up his social media.
Oh, really?
Promoting this upcoming show, and he tagged Penn and Teller in it. And I was like, well, this is going to be great.
No, yeah.
The Magic Castle, I'm assuming, is closed too.
Yeah.
So these magicians are probably hopefully they're working on new acts.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come back with a blast. So yeah, definitely give that a check out because we love some Zabrecki.
Empire Latin 4 with me, we talked about the fall.
All right, so anybody else got anything to throw in before we sign off for tonight?
I want them to go, I've seen this. I've heard about this.
Quiet night.
So that
Friday. Fridays now.
It's there. So have it.
Not even a thing anymore weekends.
But other than that,
again, do it now because I can hear it full blast.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And also because like last time, bring some fun stuff to show and tell. I think that.
I did have props because I just did that Killer Waves. I had to make a bunch of props to that guy. I could have showed you some stuff from that.
James Balsamo's film.
Wow. Yeah. I made a bunch of fun Power Ranger type props from. It was fun for me because I haven't done those kind of props in a long time. But I made them.
You keep those handy, and we'll get James on too, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, he would love to promote that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had him before, and it was definitely a fun time. William says, have either of you seen Katie Bird, Certifiable Crazy Person? If you like serial killer movies, it's a must-see.
Wow.
Another one. William, dishing it out tonight. We appreciate all of the suggested content.
That's great.
I can't complain that I have nothing to watch now because I have.
I know.
So yeah, I guess we'll sign off for now. I appreciate everybody that turned up. Don't forget to click like on Facebook, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube. Check out madmonster.com for all your Mad Monster merch. Anything else you got to promote? What's your show? Stay tuned for.
The Old Man's coming up, folks. You're going to like that. You're going to like that show. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Gina. Always.
Yeah, always great catching up. Good to
Yeah.
see you, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. Good night, everybody.